When the Galactic Empire first discovered Earth, they did not approach with kindness or curiosity. Their message arrived in the sky as a luminous barrier that surrounded the planet like a glowing cage. Every major city saw the strange bands of light forming overhead, and soon a translated broadcast reached every device. The voice was calm yet sharp, carrying the confidence of a power that believed it had never been refused. The message was simple: kneel, obey, submit resources, accept, rule. The Empire expected Earth to react the same way hundreds of other worlds had, but Earth was not like the others. Earth had grown through storms, through disagreements, through competition, through unity forged in pressure, and through a spirit that could not be bought or bent. At first, the people of Earth were confused, unsure if the message was real. Soon, global telescopes detected massive fleets hovering just outside the solar boundary. Their ships were vast enough to cast shadows across the brightness of distant stars. A council of leaders gathered and discussed the Empire's words. Some argued for negotiation. Some argued for surrender to avoid disaster. Some argued for caution. Yet most argued for something else entirely: pride, choice, freedom. No one knew what the Empire would do if Earth refused, but one thing was clear: humanity did not kneel. Not then, not ever. Earth sent a message that was short and calm. No, the Empire responded immediately. A second barrier formed around the moon, then Mars, then the deeper edge of the system. These shimmering fields cut off long-range travel. The Empire's fleet moved closer, locking into positions like an array of steel mountains drifting in space. Over the next few days, calm words from the Empire turned into commands. When commands failed, attempts to frighten Earth followed. They displayed images of conquered planets rebuilt into strict order. They repeated stories of resistance crushed in hours. They spoke with certainty, believing Earth would break. But Earth did not break. Instead, something unexpected began to form. Across every nation, old barriers dissolved. For the first time in centuries, every major research group, space agency, and scientific community pushed their resources into one project. A project no one had believed would be needed in their lifetimes. A project designed only for the worst possible day. A project code named Horizon Line. Horizon Line was old. It had been drawn on scattered notes during past decades, when small groups wondered what humanity would do if an overwhelming force arrived. The plan was simple but bold. If Earth could not push the enemy back, it would remove the enemy's ability to control, predict, or threaten. Not by destroying life, but by removing the very tools the Empire used for dominance: their navigation gates, their energy beacons, their relay worlds, their resource outposts, every place that allowed them to enforce fear across the spiral arms. The project had been considered unrealistic by many. Some thought it risky, some thought it too bold. But the Empire's demand had changed everything. Now Horizon Line was the only idea strong enough to keep Earth from losing its freedom. The Global Council approved it with a unanimous vote. Work began instantly. Horizon Line relied on a new form of controlled solar burst technology, something Earth had developed as a method of redirecting harmful radiation away from fragile stations. It was not designed for harm, but for transformation, capable of turning a region of space into a zone where power would not flow the same way as before. These bursts could disable systems based on strict energy fields. The Empire relied heavily on such fields. If Earth released controlled bursts at specific locations, it could neutralize infrastructure without causing widespread destruction. The challenge was reaching those targets. The Empire monitored every usual path. Earth needed ships that did not rely on their normal engines. A team of engineers designed gliders that rode on solar winds and gravity poles, using only small corrections. To stay hidden, these gliders carried horizon line devices. Volunteers stepped forward to guide them. Not soldiers, not fighters. Scientists, pilots, explorers, and people who simply believed that Earth deserved the right to stand tall. One of them was a young pilot named Leon. He was calm, quiet, and deeply focused. Another volunteer was Mira, a researcher who had spent her life studying cosmic energy patterns. There was also Jonas, a skilled navigator who could read star maps like lines on a familiar road. And Hannah, a systems technician with a steady hand. They were not famous. They were not powerful. Yet they were exactly the type of people Earth had always trusted when times were uncertain. The gliders launched silently from Earth's hidden stations. The Empire's scanners were tuned to detect heat, particle trails, and standard engines. The gliders produced none of these signs. For several days, the gliders drifted among natural cosmic movements. The Empire's ships continued to wait for Earth's surrender. They saw nothing unusual. They assumed Earth had no options left. Meanwhile, the gliders reached the first target, an energy relay world that the Empire used to maintain control over 3 nearby systems. The Horizon Line device activated. A wave of stable, shifting light expanded outward. The relay world went dark as if a switch had been turned off. Empire ships in that region lost their guiding signals. Confusion spread through their ranks. Before they recovered, the second glider reached a transport beacon world. Another wave, another system went dark. The Empire now realized Earth was acting, but they underestimated the scale. They believed only 1 or 2 devices existed. They believed this was an inconvenience, not a true threat. They did not understand that Earth had launched dozens. In a single day, 10 more relay points across distant regions changed from bright networks into quiet spheres. The Empire's order began to unravel. Fleets could not coordinate. Gateways flickered. Supply routes froze. Communication lines weakened. For the first time in countless cycles, the Empire had to face an uncomfortable truth. Someone had challenged them in a way they had never imagined. And that someone was Earth. The main Empire fleet near the solar boundary reacted quickly. They formed a tight formation and prepared to advance. Earth saw their movement long before they reached the barrier fields. Earth scientists activated secondary horizon line generators placed around the orbit of several moons and small stations. These created a controlled sphere where the Empire's standard energy beams turned unpredictable, not harmful, just useless. The fleet fired several times, expecting the usual bright results. The beams scattered like harmless ripples of light. No one on Earth celebrated. They stayed focused. They knew the Empire would search for new strategies. The Empire sent smaller ships to capture or disable Earth stations. But even these found trouble. Horizon Line did not harm them, but it made their advanced tools misread directions and signals. Several ships drifted away without understanding why. Some circled endlessly, unable to find a path forward. Earth continued to target distant Empire regions with the gliders. The Horizon Line waves reached worlds that the Empire valued as the backbone of their authority. Across the galaxy, their systems dimmed one by one. Yet no life was harmed. No world was damaged. Only the chains of control were broken. Many worlds under the Empire noticed the shift. Without strict monitoring from the Empire, they began to communicate more freely. Some sent messages of hope. Some whispered that Earth must be responsible. The Empire now faced 2 challenges: Earth's clever strategy and the rising courage of the worlds they once ruled. Unable to lose face, the Empire's Council sent a direct message to Earth. Their tone changed. They spoke more cautiously. They demanded that Earth stop Horizon lying and negotiate. Earth answered with calm clarity. Respect, equality, choice. These were the conditions. The Empire did not accept. Earth continued its quiet advance. The gliders reached one of the biggest relay hubs deep within Empire territory. Activating Horizon Line, there caused a shift felt across half the spiral arm. Empire fleets found themselves without unified direction. Worlds once silent began sending messages to each other for the first time in generations. The Empire realized they were losing more than infrastructure. They were losing authority, but Earth was not celebrating. Earth had no interest in ruling anyone. They only wanted safety. They only wanted freedom. The Empire tried one final move. They powered up their central command world, a massive planet, layered with energy fields so strong that nothing had ever breached them. They planned to use this world as a beacon to override the effects of Horizon Line. Earth knew this world was the heart of the Empire's control network. If the beacon activated, the Empire would regain everything. This required one last glider mission. Leon, Myra, Jonas, and Hannah guided the final device toward a narrow region behind the planet's shadow. The Empire did not expect a glider to reach that deep. They focused all attention on the front side of the planet where they assumed Earth might strike. The glider drifted quietly. When the final Horizon Line wave touched the surface of that world, its energy fields slowed like fading echoes. The beacon went silent. The Empire's last attempt failed. With their systems neutralized, their fleets lost, and their lines dark, the Empire had no path left. They sent one more message to Earth. Not a command, not a threat, a request. A request to talk. Earth agreed. For the first time in their long history, the Empire asked another world for terms instead of giving the